Does Xbox have some special things planned for next week regarding the Bethesda acquisition? And has the Xbox Series X just secured one of its biggest future exclusives to date? And I go on a rant about achievements. There's a lot here in this video to talk about, so let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? It's Randall Thor19, the man with the million, back again with another video. I hope everyone's enjoying their weekend, and if you could do me a huge favor, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and please hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Thank you very much for checking out the video and for all the continued support. So we have a few different topics I want to discuss in this video, and it's mainly going to be centered around things that you guys have sent me via Twitter DMs or messages over Xbox Live. Obviously, the big focus of this video is going to be about this article that says Microsoft may have just secured one of the biggest future exclusives for the Xbox Series X. And my eyes jumped out of my head when I saw this because I felt like I overslept an announcement. I'm someone who's pretty clued in on all the things that Xbox is doing with their studios and potential partnerships, so I thought I missed an announcement, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on in the video. And one of the other things I wanted to talk about in this video a little bit later on is going to be the state of achievements. Every single video I intro myself as the man with the million, and every single time I get new subscribers, people don't know what that means. It means I have a million gamer score on Xbox. At the end of the video, I'm going to go on a rant about the current state of the Xbox achievement system because my buddy Jez Corden did an article about it. But first, I wanted to talk about the surge of energy and excitement I feel from Xbox fans because they know that the Bethesda acquisition is on the verge of being closed. Yesterday morning, my good buddy Clobro over on Twitter tweeted out that I need to get more input from an actual lawyer, and I won't pretend I have any idea about this, but I think the US Securities and Exchange Commission just published a notice of effectiveness in regards to the Bethesda acquisition. So of course, this information sent people speculating about has the Bethesda deal actually closed. We know that the EU is set to rule on the merger by March 5th, but we haven't had any update regarding it. So a lot of people, when they saw this tweet and more information started coming out, just assumed that the Bethesda acquisition had actually closed. Adding fuel to the fire, Tweaktown published this article that said the Microsoft ZeniMax merger has apparently gone through. Providence Equity, the main stakeholder in the ZeniMax media, has listed ZeniMax as a realized investment on its portfolio webpage. This essentially confirms the deal has gone through. Investments are listed as either active or realized. When an investment is listed as realized, that means the stakeholder has made a profit by selling the investment stake for more money than it was purchased for. Conversely, an active investment means no profit has been made yet. As part of the acquisition, Microsoft promised Providence a six-fold return of their initial ZeniMax media investment. So if you take all these little nuggets of information and you combine it with this clip that I'm going to play in just a minute between Jeff Rubenstein and Major Nelson during the Xbox podcast they just did, where Major talks about next week's podcast is going to have some guests and maybe even some special things planned, people start to speculate that the Bethesda deal is going to be announced as closed on Monday, and that Major Nelson probably will have on perhaps Phil Spencer and Todd Howard to discuss the Bethesda acquisition and what it means for Xbox and the 8 Bethesda studios. Here's the clip, check it out.
Well,
you have some good guests next week?
Yeah, we got some guests next week. We got some cool stuff. We have some special things. I don't want to say them because I don't want to spoil them, nor I don't want to say anything until they're, as we say in the biz, in the can. So, okay. But I've got a lot of stuff planned, so stay tuned for that. You and I will be back next week.
So you guys can make your own guesses on what Major Nelson is teasing here. Could the special things he's talking about be an interview with Phil Spencer and Todd Howard? Maybe it's a guest like Jason Ronald talking about more additions to FPS boost on Xbox. Your speculation is just as good as mine because I have no idea what it could possibly be. I guess this begs the question, do I expect anything special from Xbox next week in regards to Bethesda? It's certainly possible, and I'm going to be waking up extremely early each day because you never know when Microsoft is going to drop the official confirmation that they acquired Bethesda and have an interview with Phil Spencer and Todd Howard and all the studios, and then perhaps an Xbox Newswire blog post and an interview with Phil Spencer at some big website talking about what this all means. So I will be waking up early every single day this week, and I could see a couple scenarios taking place. On Monday, I could see Microsoft saying the sale's complete because they're legally obliged to actually do that. And maybe the week after, on the 15th, a video drops from Bethesda, all the studios, talking about what this acquisition means to them. It could be something like that, or one of these days, whether it's Monday or Tuesday, everything just drops. the sales closed, here's the video, here's some interviews, etc., etc. Either way, it's happening in the next couple weeks. Now, next up, we have to talk about this article titled Xbox Series X has reportedly secured one of its biggest exclusives yet. So many of you DM'd me this article, wanted me to give my take on it, if it's true or if it's just made up bull. And when I saw this article, I had an idea what it was about. But honestly, my initial reaction was, did I miss an announcement? I'm pretty clued in on what Xbox is doing, and I'm pretty sure I would have heard something about this. But let's dive into it, shall we? The article goes on to say a new Xbox Series X report has PlayStation fans on PS4 and PS5 sweating bullets, or at least some PlayStation players. According to the report, Microsoft has secured another exclusive for the Xbox Series X, and this one has the potential to be one of the biggest Xbox exclusives in years. According to the report, Microsoft is working with From Software, the makers of Dark Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, and more, on an exclusive game, or more specifically, a sci-fi RPG that the former will publish. Unfortunately, this is more or less all the report reveals, other than noting that the game is in pre-production, suggesting a reveal is still a ways off, let alone a release. If all this is true and goes through, it will be a big pickup for Xbox. While many developers make better selling games than From Software, not many have its number when it comes to quality and consistency. Further, not only is the developer beloved in hardcore circles, but in PlayStation circles thanks to Demon's Souls in the past and more recently Bloodborne. As for the report itself, it comes the way of Miles Dampier of Windows Central, who does follow up all this by noting that this information is just based on rumblings he's heard, and right now it's hard to tell if it's legitimate. In other words, take it with a grain of salt. I gotta say, I love articles like this. You have two huge paragraphs talking about how it could be this huge exclusive for the Xbox Series X, and then the small third paragraph is like, oh, by the way, this rumor comes to us from Miles over at Windows Central, and who knows if it's true. In fact, he said that it's hard to tell if it's legitimate. I can't believe people were running with what Miles said in his video. That video was supposed to be fun. It was a conspiracy video taking a look at all the things Phil Spencer had on his shelf and what it could mean, but yet it blew up. Comicbook.com reported on it. Reset Era had a thread on it. I even reached out to Miles myself and we had a really good laugh in the DMs. And he was like, did people not hear me say that it's hard to tell if this is legitimate? And I'm just gonna come out there and say it. I'm just gonna come out here and say it. This isn't happening. And I hate to be the one to kind of sort of dash Xbox's fans' hopes and dreams, but honestly, knowing the truth is better than completely believing a made-up lie. This whole From Software working with Microsoft thing was a Reddit post a couple weeks ago. You can see here, Microsoft is collaborating with From Software again. I've been informed that Microsoft is working with From Software on a new IP details, and this guy who posted it is a burner account. He said it has Souls-like combat, a futuristic setting. MC is not a human, but more like a hybrid. You can't create a character. Character can climb large buildings. It has a larger map than Sekiro. It's set to release 2 years after Elden Ring. It's next-gen only title for the Series X and S and PC, and it's assisted by Turn 10. Unrelated but notable, Elden Ring has been delayed eternally to 2022. So that's where the rumor comes from. That's what Miles was referencing in his conspiracy post, and I just can't believe it got picked up by all these different websites. From Software is not working on an exclusive game for Xbox. I'm sorry, guys. I love rumors and speculation like most people, and I explained last week in my video when I talked about Phil's shelf and what those things meant. The reason Sekiro was on Phil's shelf is because I think Sekiro will be hitting Xbox Game Pass in the near future. And it's going to be a big boon for the service because it was 2019's Game of the Year. Now, before we get out of here, I want to talk about Xbox's achievement system because Jez Corton had a great article over on Windows Central about it. I recommend everybody go check it out. He says, overhaul unlocked. It's time Xbox's achievement system is due for an upgrade. Time to upgrade the neglected system. I agree with pretty much everything Jez brought up in this article. It is overdue for the Xbox achievement system to get an overhaul, to get some new additions. And I call myself the man with the million because I have over 1 million gamer score, so I can talk about this stuff. Achievements mattered to me greatly when I was chasing them since 2005. Now, I don't really do that anymore, mainly because I grew out of it, because now the whole meta is you have to play these horrible, cheap gamer score, which I'll talk about in a minute. but mainly because Xbox doesn't really care about the achievement system anymore. The last time they updated it was back in 2016 when they gave us rare achievements, which are amazing, and achievement rarity, which is awesome. You can see the percentage of how many people achieved that achievement on Xbox Live that have played that game. I love those sort of things, but fans of the achievement system and achievement hunters and people out there have been asking Microsoft for more. How about giving us Xbox completions, which would be comparable to what PlayStation has with the Platinum Trophy. When you get all the trophies on PlayStation, you unlock a special Platinum Trophy. Xbox gamers have wanted that sort of completion badge, or whatever you want to call it, on Xbox for some time now, and Microsoft still has not made that happen. Another thing that bothers a lot of people is these rise of the publishers essentially selling gamer score disguised as games. There's a ton of indie games on Xbox. Some are incredible, some are Game of the Year contenders, but a lot of them aren't really good whatsoever. They're just Steam bargain basement titles. Well, because every single game on Xbox is required to have 1,000 gamer score, unlike how it was on the 360 where indie titles were only allowed to have 200, a lot of publishers realize that dedicated achievement hunters will spend money buying these games that nobody really is going to play, and if they give them achievements really quickly, then they'll keep on coming back. So there's a couple publishers that I won't mention that basically release these student project games for a really cheap price, $5, and you get all of the 1,000 gamer score in essentially 10 minutes. And then after 6 months time, they add another 1,000 gamer score, another 6 months time, another 1,000. So you essentially are giving them money in exchange of gamer score. You're not even really buying games at this point. You're just buying gamer score, and it's completely overinflated the already sort of useless gamer score system that has been in place since 2005. Either way, it's been roughly 5 years since Microsoft has done anything meaningful with the achievement system, and it's about time they do something about it. Anyways, guys, that's the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified every single time I drop a video like this. Please share this out on social media or tell a friend about the channel. If you want to take your support for the channel even further, you can always hit the join button where you'll get access to channel badges and emails for the Xbox 2 podcast we do every single week with Jez Corden of Windows Central. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, guys.